So far we know the lotus flower grows in a swamp, only in a swamp. The swamp is like the world, cloudy, muddy and everything, yeah, and bank robbers and everything. And the flower, when it is the only flower that we know where the parent and the child, the stamen and they spring forth at the same time. So it's a simultaneous cause and effect. Also, this flower, when it blooms in the swamp, when it blooms, the muddy swamp, right at the stem of the flower, the water becomes clear, enlightened. That's a symbol of lightened. Let me see. What kind of sound comes out of this after 3,000 years of not Sometimes when you play and don't look at the horn, one of these screws, they work and they come out and it's really high and this will come off. You try to, any one of these you have to watch. Because you're always doing like that and the screw starts or this way or that way. This one too. It was 10 o'clock we play? Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
We love you, man.
Hey,
Mirren.
don't forget the doctor to it. He said, man.
No kidding. Who's that?
It's his first time. Oh.
Music.
It was his mother who was one of him to.
Huh. Patty. Ven, mami, dame un besito.
She's doing good, man. She was asking for you. Yeah. Sending her love.
What do you give as a present to life in celebration of life when life has it all? And I would say the effort of being original is like, thank you. Can you talk over the music? You can call this like a reflection of what I call something that's before anything begins, existence began. Before the song, before existence, and this is in the realm of potential. And the potential cannot be given or rehearsed. The potential has to be found. And the thing is to find the potential of anything. All these musicians have to be courageous and humble enough to not want to flaunt their musical credentials. Sometimes you put on display things that you have learned in packages, and the packages are supposed to be consumed by applause and sales. And there has to be an expectant with this package. But if no one knows what's coming, it's going to take as much courage for the audience to seek the unexpected as we are thinking we're finding it. Finding the way to use potential.
I think I have to start with the most powerful thing that happened on the occasion of the passing of Wayne's wife of 26 years, who died in a plane crash. I think most people that have followed Wayne's life know about it. You know, this tragedy that he, at that crucial moment, I think because of his, at that time, 30 years of practicing Buddhism, he understood that to affect her life in a very positive way, he had to actually become happier. And so he vowed in front of everybody on her memorial that he was going to become even a happier man in order to affect her life. I think that he made that decision, that moment, that he wanted to take risks again, in this realm of his life.
The perception that tragedy is temporary, that tragedy is temporary, and then the person that you lost or that left still exists, and in the path, the crossroads of eternity, there will be an encounter, not just again, but an eternal encounter. And that eternal encounter is your perception of the constant instead of the temporary. And it takes some pain to expand one's perception sometimes, because you're letting go of your limitations. So that's, a legitimate detach. Just like when you take a bandage off. It will sting when you take the bandage off, but the healing, if you don't take it off.
I was just a young local musician in Chicago, trying to find out everything I could about modern jazz, so that I could learn more and grow in my own development. But I do remember seeing one album jacket that had a face on it, and it said Wayne Shorter. So by the time I met him, Wayne was already a hero of mine, and one of the musicians that was considered one of the young lions of that time. He and Lee Morgan also, who was with him, with Art Blakeys band. He was right on the edge of something, and that he was taking chances all the time, and that he was constantly inventing music for the moment.
Wayne has a beautiful analogy about a person being mentored by someone, which is, he always says, it's like having a mentor. It's not following someone per se. It's he establishes an analogy that I think it's great, which is when the father takes a son to watch the parade, and he puts the son cannot see the parade, so he puts the son in his shoulder. At that moment, the son then starts seeing further than what the father can see. He starts telling something to the father, and this is what's happening with this quartet.
I remember getting the call to come, and it was like, okay, piano burning, let's go, something like that. You know what I mean? So I get to the studio, and we're recording. Actually, he was sort of like auditioning me in the studio. He was doing Alegría record. So when I get there, there's this part in Vendiendo Alegría. And I remember, for me, it was just like, okay, it's like, I don't remember if it was B flat. Let's say it was B flat major or A major, I forgot that. But it's like, it was a chord like that. And he said to me, we played that, and he goes, stop the recording. He said, Danilo, can you put some water in that chord? Put water in that chord. You know what I mean, right? I was like, what? I don't really know what you mean. I didn't say that, but I said, put on. So we did it again. And apparently I didn't do very good because he said, okay, let's do another piece. And I was like, oh, I don't know how to put water in a chord. Okay. So I went back to my room and I was thinking about this, thinking. And all of a sudden I said, okay, I'm gonna put the TV on. Put the TV on, and there was a commercial, so da-dee-da-dee-dee-da-dee. It was like fifth, and a bunch of fifth. And all of a sudden, like a soap commercial. And I was like, wait a minute, that's it. Oh, let me make chords out of fifth. So we come back next day, the studio, and that part came in. I was really looking forward to it. And he came in, let's do that tune again. He started in that, Vendiendo Alegría. And that part came in, I think it was A7 or something, or A major. And I played the chord, and he goes, ooh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Water in the chord. But he said, but now you gotta look, you know what I mean? Like look down like that. And when you look down like that, you gotta be able to see, or you gotta be able to see bottom. That water has to be completely clean. And that was it for me. It's like, oh man, this guy is out there. This is gonna be a trip. Actually literally flew, I am sure of that, because I moved from the piano away, and when I looked down, I saw them, but I saw myself, and I went back. It was very strange. And I told Wayne, I was flying today. I felt like I was there, and he said, that's what I was telling you with Miles Davis. We were flying all the time. These kind of things, where we do stuff like, it just comes out of nowhere. Okay, so now we are taking a little part of a piece called She Moved Through the Fair. I don't even know, sometimes we just hint into like a sign on the door to move into a place of, a new place, into the unknown. And we'll see what happens.
that the purpose has to be mystery. We have to play like we don't know everything. We don't know. So the mystery of it is way better than explaining it. Remember when King Kong died and the guy said, they lost their God. Or something like that, they lost their God. And he said, no. He didn't know, they didn't lose. He said, Kong was their mystery. They needed a mystery. And that's the mystery of themselves.
Maybe a creation of new vocabulary that has no words yet, but that has movement, you know. Woo! You see that? I mean, what is that? I don't know.
It's not a solo.
For me, it's not really music. It's not, it's just something else.
That was the introduction. But it's not just a piece in itself. And then that piece is, She Moved to the Fair. So when we play some music like this, we want to see what it's like to start playing sounds that seem to have no planned design, no recognizable destiny. And when these sounds start to intermingle, I've become more and more convinced that there's no such thing as a coincidence and no such thing as a mistake. I think what we call a mistake is actually a start.
I feel that Wayne's journey and, let's say, quest for, the unknown and having the, and risk-taking and all of that, his quest to actually inspire people to have the courage to deal with all that's unexpected that's happening in the world has brought these people to his life, I feel. Because they, in their unique way, it's the most, let's say, it's the most perfect combination of people. The first gig they played together, we had just moved, Wayne and I had just moved from California to Florida. I was waiting for the truck, literally, with the, with our stuff, and I couldn't be on that particular concert. And I remember Wayne coming back with an excitement that I had never seen, knowing Wayne for many years.
I feel like this period in his life, now he's gonna be 80 this year. There were never really bands, or even the Weather Report, that being the longest, but then on his own terms, under his name. This is the first.
This is it, yeah.
Which is funny, this quarter of his life, after 70, and so.
When you see that, and then you go back and see those ones where he's like super young with Miles in Europe,
Yeah.
playing, and they're burning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's playing amazing, and just see how he developed over a long arc.
Because in a way, I feel like I met Wayne in 1987 when I bought Live at the Plug Nickel. And, Miles Davis or Ugetsu, Art Blakey. And then I got Juju. So it's almost like, it's as if I had known him already.
Did you use this for the gig, right? The little thing that shows which side fell off, so I don't even know anymore.
Man, you're a
what goes
caboose.
which.
Look.
A lot of people learning from Ryan Blade, the drummer is coming up, and the way he fuses within the other players. And then also John Patitucci is coming along with some uninterrupted contribution from the bass instrument without feeling that the bass must be basically a backbone and this is a timekeeper, a sound timekeeper, and the drummer used to be a timekeeper. But what we're actually doing too together, like playing like this, has nothing to do with ESP. This extrasensory perception. Like there's something extra in some people, and there's nothing extra in some other people.
And we talk about that. There's certain things that each instrument can do that the other one can't. Otherwise, there wouldn't have to be four of us if one instrument could provide all of it. It's not only just the saxophone and the piano, sometimes saxophone and the bass, or the two of us are playing, or there was a duo at the beginning of this with the bass and the piano. We're trying to explore a lot of colors and not get rotely saying, well, okay, you're always going to play with him and he's going to, you know what I mean? Yeah. We want it to be fluid,
Miles used to say this, jazz needs more color. Not getting the synthesizer to do it, need more color. And then different kinds of motor. It's a ding, 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 ding. John Coltrane wanted that before he died. He wanted more instruments, so did Charlie Parker, to play with more orchestrations.
Each member of that band has a unique sound. And Wayne is such a perfect mentor for that partnership that they have, that it allows them to, and encourages them to explore territories that I'm sure even they didn't know was possible.
And that's also been a freaky thing, like Herbie would come around to the gigs and he really would voice, he said, well, this feels connected to what we did. And for us, that's like, you know, really? I mean, you know, for us, that's a wild thing for him to say, because those guys really shaped our thinking about a lot of things.
You know, the whole lineage of what he has seen and experienced, from Charlie Parker to Lester Young to, you know, it's to Bud Powell, you know, like the true history of the music.
When say play like you want the world to be like. Do what you want, you know, like do what, you know, have courage, marry. he inspired me to get married, you know. Don't be afraid, you know. He'll call me at 2 o'clock in the morning saying, Danilo, man, watch this movie. And I put the movie on, it was about marriage. And I was like, oh, man. And then next day he say, you know, Danilo, I've been thinking about this. You know, people talk about going to the Mount Everest and all of that stuff as if that's the only way to show courage. I think being married, he always end up there. I think being married really show your courage. And I was like, oh my God, he has an agenda, you know? He wants me to get married, you know?
And the question is like, why? What are we living? He said the answer to that is to do. Now, this is a simple answer, but it takes to do what you want to do. But what you have to do is interact with other people so that you can do what you want to do. So, because that helps them to do what they want to do. Encourage people to stay together instead of breaking up. Oh, that's fun. You don't have to hear this one. That's Plaza Royale. Something has to be done with this with orchestra. was writing something, and it was an Adam's apple. And because the Alfred Lion, Alfred Lion and Frank Wolf, he said, could you, on this next record, could you give us some grease? Give me a little grease, just a little grease. Uh-huh. And I felt like you're not throwing anything away. And I just made up this song, Adam's Apple, and we played it. And there was a family across the street who used to babysit for my daughter, Miyako. And the daughter, who was at Marymount College, she was going into Marymount College, 18, 19 years old. She said she heard Adam's Apple, and she said, and guess what? She said, my mother and my mother, aunt, everything, they do the housework with the vacuum cleaner. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, you know, say do the housework to that. I'm just gonna go right to what I'm thinking. When I see large audiences and I hear big selling groups yelling to the people, put your hands over your head. Then when they do this, in my mind, I see an invisible chain and invisible handcuffs. And put your hands over your head is also synonymous with this is a stick up. You want to please the audience with a well-served, well-oiled, executed, articulated account of an hour and 90 minutes on stage. When we start to play, and we look at each other sometimes, we say, 0. And in all of our minds is, what is it going to be this time? Okay, let's surprise each other. You know, it's just, you know, thinking, and then things. Some of the old boxers used to train to bebop. When Sugar Ray Robinson, the real one, and Joe, they would listen to swing, and they trained and moved their bodies in certain ways that Sugar Ray Robinson, they said he could hit or defend himself just as much impact backing up. And then the body going to the right to the left. And it said, I hear like now, he's not bobbing and weaving enough. He's standing right in front. He's gonna get knocked out. And he said, that's the two-step thing that ba, infiltrating one's life, and they, you know.
He brought the music, like tons, a lot of music, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm really nervous now. And he came in and he opened the saxophone. I was like, oh man, I haven't seen this. I haven't seen it for a while, you know, and it looked like he hasn't been playing the saxophone. So he got the saxophone out. Hardly could get a sound. I couldn't believe it. I was like, and then I said, we were waiting to wait for a cue, you know. So he's going, trying to get a sound. I was like, whoa. And then all of a sudden I said, Maestro, what? I wanted to be formal. And he said, Maestro, what piece do you like to start? And he looked at me like, what? I said, what piece would you like to say? Oh, no. Danilo, he said, you can't rehearse the unknown. Sometimes when I get on the stage and I look and I see John or Brian or Wayne, this is what I go through my mind. I see Brian Blake. Brian Blake.
Internamente voy.
Brian Blake. Brian Blake. And that's what I'm thinking.
Eso es todo lo que estoy pensando.
So then, right before I'm gonna start playing, just the name Brian Blake got so much meaning to me. There's so much hidden information. There's rhythm, there's motivic, there's something there. And I literally would do something like that.
Hay mucha información ahí, escondida, ritmo.
Brian Blake. And we can check it out. They don't even know what I'm thinking, but we can do something with that. So we set it up. And then I said, well, guys, and I got my brother here, so I say,
Tengo a mi hermano ahí.
John Patitucci. That could be the bridge or something. So,
Podría ser el puente, por ejemplo.
so John Patitucci.
Is there a philosophy of practicing and growing better at something like zero gravity?
So, no matter what sound, who begins, zero gravity allows us to just go there. We got this from Wayne.
Esta noción la obtuvimos desde Wayne.
And, I don't think I've ever asked him specifically what he means by it.
You open the door and it's already happening.
Yeah.
You open the door and it's happening, but it has to be not familiar happening. He said you have to open the door with I dare you to open the door. But there's no dare if you know you can hear the beginning of it. Oh, it's familiar. Oh, it's safe. Let's go to this place. But you know that's a trap too. It's a trap. For some people, it's the candy store because they want to contribute to what's on the other side and become part of the rewards that come with that. So, and they become attached to something called a guarantees in life. And the thing that we do is recall what not to do and conjure pictures in the mind and try to trigger the feeling of velocity and flight in the person. Because after the concerts, we get these kind of comments that I felt like I'm flying. This can be expressed in stories we can tell by playing something called zero gravity.
And zero gravity for me is that it's almost like jumping in a swimming pool and not really knowing if there's water or not, but you just jump fearless, That's the feeling I always get. And it used to scare me, of course. But now I can't live without that. Zero gravity is my new language.
can't make it happen. These guys were so perfect, so ideally suited to him, not only his music, but as human beings. We became really, it's like it became a family, you know. So I think that evolution of that family has grown over time, and obviously that went straight into the music.
You know, write this story together, tell the story together. So that challenge of really, you know, making those moves in the moment, the choice, and what, you know, where are we and where, you know, where are we going, we don't know.
compadres. Okay.